So it's navigating social media for writers. But it's actually, I think anybody who wants to know more about social media and get something out of it, you don't necessarily have to be a writer. But I will be talking about how if you are writing, or if you're an artist, or if you want to promote something on Facebook, how wonderful this is. Social media is, to me, one of the best things that ever happened to writers. Because before, when I had a book come out, I would do things by email, which I thought was fantastic at the time, because my first book came out in '99, so email was just coming around in the late '90s. And so that was wonderful, but now there's so many more avenues, and there's so many fun things you can do with social media, and most of it's free. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So far, that's true.
Sheree, may I interrupt for just one second? It'll be the last time.
Okay.
Because this is being videoed, would you like everybody to know who you are, even though some of us know who you are?
Yeah, that's what it's going to do.
And what you do, and all of this for the video?
Sure. What I'd like you to do is we'll go around, and I want you to tell me your name, and tell me what you're working on. If you are a writer, or if you're looking for something else today, and you just want to know how to, what blogging is all about, or what Pinterest is all about.
Right.
So, and tell me too much you'd like to get out of the workshop, so I can make sure that I cover all the things that everybody knows me to.
I'm Molly Cole, and I have written one book, Mesquite.
We have a copy with me. Actually.
Yes, and it's one of the door prizes.
Oh, that's sweet.
And another one that's coming out next month, which is called Long Shadows. And this one is about Texas, obviously, Mesquite. The other one, it's my Texas family, by the way. And, but the other one is purely imaginary, spooky, about long shadows, and it's set in an imaginary parish here in Louisiana, sort of thing. So that's fun. But anyway, I like to write, but I'm a computer dunce. And the only thing I know to do is say honey, and that's the way I operate my computer, other than doing words. So that's
Okay.
I'm Helen Bellamy, and I'm on a couple of rewrites. One is political consultant, it's a crime drama, and the other one is called, it's going to be renamed, but it's called PC, a Bible for Beginning Politicians. It's 10 chapters teaching grassroots politics.
Cool. So what's your background?
I was president of the city council here in Lafayette for a while, and I've had lots of careers over the years.
That's funny.
And I'm backing up all that kind of information by taking great courses online from Northwestern. Criminal justice, lots of things in the social sciences. It's been really fun. I've learned so much. I couldn't believe it.
That's great.
Thought I knew everything.
I'm Danelle Waisley. I'm from New Iberia, a teacher by trade. And I have a little children's book that I've been working on for years, and I just want information.
Great.
Information.
Cool. Well, thanks for driving over here.
Sure.
I'm Dennis Ward. My writing history has been primarily as a playwright. My play, Chez Giselle, was in production. I don't know if anybody saw it here. A City Desire. It gained in 2011, the Tennessee Williams Sons and Sinners full-length play competition as a finalist. So I was very honored. And I'm just finishing my first novel. It's a historical novel set in World War II France about a young Jewish girl and her family trying to survive the war. And it will have a sequel set here in Katy Island.
All right. Thank you.
He's a wonderful writer. I've heard his work.
Thank you.
And you also did the other play.
Yeah, I had a play,
Fun play.
Roadkill Diner.
It's very fun.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm so good. That is.
Today?
I'm Jeanette Poole. I'm currently the historian for the Writers Guild of Katy Island. And I have written 3 books, all out of print right now, 2 on genealogy and 1 that's a family cookbook. And then I helped put together the Writers Guild cookbook. And currently I'm working on a book that we call Acadian Celebrities, and that's exactly what it is. I interview celebrities from this area, and I have a chapter on each of them, but it's, sometimes I just want to give up because it's so hard to get interviews. You have to know someone who knows someone, or you can't get in. And anyway, it's going slow, but it's good.
Awesome.
Okay, Linda Doucette, and I'm the web mistress, and I'm a publicist by trade. Would-be writer, but I have something coming out in the St. Landry Parish book, a little thing about Miss Nicholson.
Great.
I'm still trying to get it to make it work, and it's not working out.
Oh, and the new Arcadia book? No, I don't know if y'all familiar with those. Arcadia Publishing does these books, like, we did one on Rain and one on, I think, Lafayette. And Warren Perrin and others did one on Iberia Parish, and now he's doing one on St. Landry Parish. So that's great.
I'm pretty excited. And I'm up and on with trying to get Captain Set's pictures too. His eldest daughter lives in Washington. She'll be 92 in March. Still frog.
Wow, that's great.
Hey, and sir.
Hi, my name is Bob Ferris. I'm from New Orleans, and I apologize for being late, but I didn't plan on the fog that I ran into most
We
of the
sure
way.
appreciate you driving in.
Yeah. I recently had a book published about my educational experiences in Orleans Parish, and I'm just trying to find avenues of how to get it out there.
Okay, great.
Okay. My name is Cindy Landry. I'm the current president of this organization. I joined to be able to network, learn everything I could, so that I could help others get their material out there, find avenues. So that's one of the reasons that I joined. I myself am a published author, but I prefer writing short stories, inspirational, 5 to 10 minute reads for people who do not like to read a lot. And they're inspirational true stories. So that's what I do, and I put them on the web that I call Lighthouse Tales. Meanwhile, I'm excited to be here because I've been asked many times to put it in print, to put it out there, to sell it. And I'm just a storyteller. I don't consider myself a writer, but Deborah LeBlanc says good storytellers make good writers. So,
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm here for, to learn as much as I can and share it with others.
Okay.
My name is Suzanne Dudon from New Iberia as well, live right down the street from town. We were going to be here together. And I kind of like, I don't necessarily consider myself a writer, particularly a fiction or creative writing. I have written some instructor's manuals that have been published, and so I have done that kind of stuff, and have dabbled for years and years and years with that other side of it. I did some editing work for a publishing company several years back, and taught drama for a number of years in the high school. And so it's just just an area of interest.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm glad you're here.
I'm Margaret Simon, also from New Iberia. I teach gifted in Iberia Parish schools. That's my day job. And I recently published a young reader's novel, Blessing, and working on the sequel to that. I also write poetry and blog.
She's a lovely blog. And may I also brag on you that you were at the Louisiana Book Festival this year. So she...
And Neil.
And Neil?
I'm Neil Bertrand. I have 3 cookbooks, Rice Cooker Meals, Fast Home Cooking for Busy People, Slow Cooker Meals, Easy Home Cooking for Busy People, and Down Home Cajun Cooking Favorites. And I wrote and published those myself. I published a Cajun color book in 2001 for the artist, who is now known as Kuyon Duyon. And then I have published just recently a book, a historical novel by Connie Grimion. It's called A House for Eliza. And it's a story about Lafayette and her ancestors who had a 2,000-acre plantation here in Lafayette. And my project that I'm working on now, which I'm almost done, is you can call it a photo documentary of my father's time spent in World War II in the South Pacific. He took 800 photos, and my son and I scanned them and photoshopped them, and putting them into an ebook form for Kindle, and also paperback and possibly hardcover.
It's awesome.
He also has a publishing company. by the way. Okay. Well, we're glad that you're doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, Lynn, did you haven't introduced yourself?
Yeah, man, who are you?
Hi, I'm the treasurer.
Anna Ryder, she's a member of the other guild, obviously, but she writes freelance stories for KDN Profile and 008.
KDN Lifestyle in New Iberia.
I'm sorry, I was getting it wrong. Yeah.
That's okay, and 008 Magazine in Lafayette. And I blog when I want to.
Also responsible for always supplying us with wonderful food.
And I bring the food.
And thanks for husband to Mike and tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to make copies. Here I am.
Well, I'm Sherry Cohen. I'm a local writer. I've published in romance and nonfiction. Most of what I've been writing lately is nonfiction because I lost my editor at the company that I was with when I was writing novels, and I'm still trying to get back in the game with that one. But it's so funny because I'm a journalist by trade, and so when I started writing nonfiction books, I was amazed at how easy it was compared to novels. Fiction is such a hard road to hold, but got to keep going. Anyway, I freelance write. I do a lot of freelance journalism in Lafayette, but I also do a lot of social media. And this has been something that kind of popped up in the last couple of years. It's been a lifesaver for me because freelance writing is hit and miss and not the best paying in the world. And so the social media, people have been hiring me to do blogs, hiring me to do Facebook pages, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's been this great learning experience for me. And I've learned a few things, and I've taken a few classes, gone to conferences, try to learn more, so I hope to impart some of the things I've learned to you all in your writing, because I think it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to put things out there and drive readers, new readers to you, and to just keep your fans informed, and and most of it's free. The beauty of social media is that there's so much you can do for no cost at all, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. And the plan is we're going to break sometime around 11:30, have a little lunch, and then resume after that, and hope to get y'all out again into that beautiful sunshine out there. But what I want to talk about, go through the different platforms and talk to find out what it is that you all are looking for. First of all, how many of you have Facebook pages?
Have what?
Facebook pages? Everybody? Okay. How many of you are on Twitter? Okay. How many of you have a Pinterest page? Am I saying it right? Because my son laughs when I say it. I'm thinking, isn't it Pinterest?
Usually they don't pronounce the E, the second, the
So
first.
Pinterest.
Pinterest. Like you say interest.
Pinterest.
You don't say interest, you say interest.
Okay, got it. Now I know why they're laughing at me. Okay. How about LinkedIn? That was another one I kept mispronouncing. Okay, great. So y'all know about all these?
No.
Okay. Well, I will definitely describe each one. In fact, on your handout, I go through each one and talk a little bit about. There's a lot of information in here that you can read later on at your leisure. I've included some stuff in here that I actually gleaned from blogs on the internet, because we're going to talk about blogs too. Does anybody have a blog? I know Margaret does. Okay. Great. Cool. And that's another thing too. We'll even talk about whether you want a blog or not, because a lot of this stuff, you feel like you have to do it. First thing is, you want to do things that fit into your schedule and that you enjoy, because the big thing I want you to walk away with today is that social media is social. It's not like traditional media, like television and newspapers, where people gather news and they give it to you. So it's like one company putting out information. So it's a one-way street. I mean, of course, now newspapers and television are on Facebook and Twitter, and you can go to their websites and comment. So now it's a two-way street because they're having to evolve to match with what's going on with social media. Social media is social. Very, very social. So that's the one thing I want you to walk away with. It's a conversation. It's not, buy my book or come here or do this, come see my play. It's about engaging your readers, your fans. So what you do on Facebook is instead of saying, here's my book, buy it, you want to like get them talking about your book, get them interested. When was the last time, something like, when was the last time you ate a meal that swept you away, something like that? I've created this menu in my cookbook that's mind-blowing or something. What you want to do is start conversations on Facebook. So, and Twitter and all these other avenues. And then, after when you have these things going, the great thing too is to start cross-promoting through them. And then you drive people from one to the other, and it all kind of fits in together in some crazy puzzle way. But it actually works. I used to, when I had a book signing, I would send out an email, or I'd send out postcards, and I still do that. And I brought some today because I'm still a promoter. So I would, get postcards made, and I'd send them out to people, and they'd put information in the back or whatever. And I still do that, but I'd do this, and then I would do email. And now, there's so much more you can do. And then, like I said, it's free. So the possibilities of getting the word out and really driving sales and getting your writing together is wonderful. So to start with Facebook, how many of you like Facebook? Okay, are you started?
I'm getting there.
Yeah, but everybody has a Facebook page, right? Does everybody know that when you have a Facebook page, it's your personal page, it's got your information, and you can post pictures of your grandchildren or cats or videos and all that. But do you also know that you can do pages specifically for books, for instance? Mm-hmm. Do you? Okay.
With a lot of them,
Because I strongly encourage that you have your personal page, and then whatever you're doing or promoting, have a separate page. So if you're going to have a book, in fact, you might want to do one for every single book that you have.
I
or maybe,
do,
oh, you do.
but I just don't know what to do with it. Now that I have images up and maybe a video or two, now what else do I do?
Yeah.
That's what I want to learn.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that I kind of echo that because after the book's been out for 6 months or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing any more readings. What do I do with that page? Do I continue it? Do I keep putting? What do I put on it? That.
Okay. Well, that's a very good question. What do you do with your page once you start it? Well, let's say you have a book or whatever project you're working on. You start a page. I'll give an example of one of mine. I actually don't have a page for my Cajun Country Travel Guidebook because I do a Facebook page for hire with Lafayette Convention and Visitors Commission. And they tell me I can promote my book there. So every once in a while I'll stick it up. But I do have pages for my other two books. One's a cookbook and one's Magics in a Bag, which has to do with Gree bags. So the cookbook's actually was Carl Bro. So he's not a promoter, he's not big on Facebook, but he did all the recipes. So I don't have that kind of recipe knowledge to share on Facebook. So instead, what I've been doing is making it like a travel guide. Like, for instance, we get a new restaurant opens in New Iberia. I'll put it on the Cooking in Cajun Country site. And I found that a lot of people who come to that site are looking for Cajun food, Cajun restaurants, how to cook, maybe like fun things like, did you know king cakes come out on January 6th? And they love that stuff, and I find they start talking about it. And that's what you want. You want your people to start engaging with you. So you don't necessarily want to say, it's Mardi Gras time, I have a recipe in my book. A better way of doing it would be something like, did you know that king cakes are a French tradition, but that occurs around the Epiphany. But in Louisiana, we eat king cakes all the way to Mardi Gras, or something like that. And then you show a picture of it, something really wonderful and delicious. And then everybody goes, and then you have people who are from Louisiana who are living somewhere else say, oh, I miss king cakes, I would so like to be there. And somebody else will say, that looks great, what's in it? And you start a conversation. And once you get a conversation going, people start getting more interested. And that way, it's not like, again, it's not like an ad, it's not like you're marketing your book, buy my book, because people get turned off by that. What you're trying to do is engage them to have these conversations so that they start going, who is this? And, you know, what's this book about? And on my Cooking and Cajun Country page, I have at the top, I have a picture of what's the name of that company? Steen's Company in Abbeville. So it's just kind of a fun picture. But then in the little box, I have the book cover. So it's there, but I'm not heavy-handed with it. And then on the Magics in the Bag book, it's kind of that was a book that was kind of a weird thing that happened with me. I had a friend in California who her family would make these little bags that were sachets of herbs, but they had intentions in them. And I said, wow, it's just like Riri bags in Louisiana. So we started researching this, and we found that lots of cultures made these little bags, and we ended up writing a book about it. It was kind of a weird way how it all happened. So a lot of times what I'll do is sometimes when I'll put things online that have to do with herbs or phases of the moon, and I make it very mystical and fun. And I get a lot of good feedback through that. So
Do they all link to your book? Are there links?
No, the Facebook page is more, yes, you can. You can provide links. And that's one thing I really encourage you to do. There's two things you should really always do. You should always include a picture or a link. And when you do, because people love photographs, and they tend to ignore the posts that don't have photographs. So you're going to catch people's eye if you have some kind of visual there. Think of it like a newspaper. When you pick up a newspaper, your eye is always drawn to the story with the photograph more than the other gray areas. So think of think of good visuals. Make sure your photographs are clear and engaging. Engaging is the key word here. You want to engage people. So if you have a link, a lot of times too, you want to keep your post pretty brief, but you want to include all your information. So don't be shy on Facebook to include a good bit of information if you have to. So a lot of people think they have to be really short, like, just do this, and that's not necessarily true. People will read it if they're really interested and it's something that attracts them. So, but when you put your link, you write your post and you add the link at the bottom, the link pops up on your post. At that point, you can take out the URL, the address. You don't need that inside the post. Is everybody following on that one? It's like if you...
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Because most of the ones I see, you have the link in the message, plus you have the little thumbnail of the photo, then the link again. So you're
Right.
saying to delete the link that you typed in to the message.
Yes. Usually when you type in a post, you might say something like, Mardi Gras is a week away. Here's a great cocktail for your entertaining pleasure or something. And then you might put the link to your website.
MardiGrasCocktails.com.
Right. And so the Mardi Gras cocktails will pop up underneath, and you'll have the thumbnail and the link. And at that point, you go back into your post and just delete the URL.
And
Because
how do you
it's
insert
not
the-
necessary at that point.
How do you insert the link? What's the literal keys that you use?
Well, when you're posting on your Facebook, you have that little box. You type in the whole URL, and I think I don't even think you have to put the whole thing in. I think you could start with www. But sometimes, what I usually do is I go to the web page and just copy the address, and then drop it in that little box, and then it usually pops right up. But then once it pops up, take that link out because it's extra words. And you don't need them because once that link pops up on your little post, the little picture, people click that on and go right there. So you're done. Do you know about adding pictures? Everybody, just use it when you put something in your Facebook post, the little box. It'll say, I forget what it says exactly. Add content.
Add photo.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Add photo/video or something.
Yeah. And then it says add photo, and usually at that point, it'll take you to your computer where you go through your files and find the photo you want. And once you get there, you just add it and pop, it comes right up. It's really a great thing.
What are like some of the issues with taking a photo from the internet?
That's a really good question. Her question is, you got to be careful with photos. In fact, in two ways. If you take a photo from the internet, you've got to make sure it's not copyright. A lot of times, people will embed their names in the photo to keep people from doing this because people keep using photos all over the place. However, if it's your photo and someone else does it, you can tell them to stop, or it's up to you. I mean, sometimes you want them to, it doesn't matter. I don't know how you feel about it. I like Pinterest. I have put a whole bunch of pictures of Lafayette on there because I'm doing that for Lafayette Convention and Visitors Commission. And so people keep repinning all these photos. And at first I thought, oh wait, these are all my photos. But then I thought, well, they're spreading Lafayette to the world, so this is, it's okay.
Actually, on Facebook, you had your son's picture, fabulous picture.
I know.
And
I know.
I don't think I reposted it, but I did steal it. But it was to teach a lesson in my classroom. I just had them respond to the picture. It was just so amazing. So I wanted them to write.
Oh,
but
I'll have to tell them. Hopefully,
yeah. I think we got some pretty good stuff. I don't remember actually. But
was it the fountain picture?
It was just amazing, that light, and
my son's really good.
Fountain of what?
It was the fountain at Sanssouci, and it was at night. And so it was just kind of a shadow of a kid's hand in the fountain. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's really.
But I did worry about taking it. I took it off your Facebook page, but I didn't. I was very careful not to use it in a way that would be public. But
it's fine.
It's an issue that it is something you want.
It is an issue, and one way you could do if you have photographs that you don't want people stealing, like to use for commercial. Because if you do find out that they're using it, you have to go and say, please stop, and go through all that legal stuff. It's a hassle. So one way you can get around that is to, when you put a photo on Facebook, is do a low resolution. So when you put photos on your computer, usually they come in pretty high. It depends on your camera setting. But if you do a save as, and then lower the resolution, so the picture's not as clear, it's not as pretty. And so people aren't going to want to, when they steal it, for instance, it won't look as pretty on their computer, so they won't want to use it. So that's one thing you can do to keep people from stealing your photos. But if you do take photos from the internet to use on your Facebook page, do be mindful that there are people out there, just like writers, who are photographers and they copyright their use of their creative products. So be mindful of copyright issues. Videos, I think people, anytime you put a video on your Facebook page, I think whoever made video is thrilled to death. So this is how things get viral. If you ever heard the word viral, when something gets very popular and someone sees it on Facebook and then they send it to their friends and they send it to their friends, it gets into the thousands and millions of hits. And then it's, if it's a YouTube video, for instance, YouTube gives them royalties if it makes get so many hits. So let's all hope that our books become viral.
Yeah.
That would be great. And see, you never know. You could have something that's very interesting that, and let me encourage you all too, because I moved around an awful lot. I'm originally from New Orleans. So where'd you go to school? No, I'm just kidding. That's what we do when we're from New Orleans. Where's your mom? Where'd you go to school? But I moved around a lot, and the one thing I learned over and over and over again was that what we have here is, I don't want to say very unique, that's redundant. It's unique, but it is very unique. It's just a really incredible place. We have a wonderful culture here that people don't get. In fact, I was even talking to people last night about Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and a lot of people still don't understand that, Mardi Gras in New Orleans it's a cultural thing. It's not just this big debauchery on Bourbon Street, Because I was telling about how I grew up as a kid, going to Mardi Gras parades and because everybody says, oh, I would never do that. And I was like, no, it's part of our life. But people don't, what we do here is wonderful. And if you're writing about, in the South too, you're writing about the South and Louisiana, putting these tidbits out there on Facebook and blogs and whatnot, you're going to draw people in because they're fascinated. I find that over and over again wherever I went. People are always fascinated by what we do here. Food, culture, everything. because you just can't find things anywhere else in this country that we have here. Yes, you do that.
A lot of times when I finish the series that I'm doing, a lot of people like, oh, as soon as your book comes out, let me know. And I was wondering, maybe I should be setting this up now and, calling it something like the GG series and have a Facebook page for the GG series.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get a buzz going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that, then when the books do come out, but, there's a lot of process to getting there, and a lot of good things happen. And you want to let people know.
Yeah. Why
You'll
not?
have a waiting list.
Yeah. Well, might attract a good publisher too.
Okay,
That's true, you're right.
Sheree, I've learned something. I jumped right in Facebook, and I loved seeing everybody on there and seeing what they were talking about. And I joined Facebook so that I could network and spread the word about like events like this and other things going on. Well, now I realize that I'm on a page that I'm doing all this when I should have another page. So I don't know how to go about doing that. How do I make a different page?
A different page?
I ask it for you because I knew you and I would need to know that.
I believe it's in the right-hand corner. It says create a page, and you can create. In fact, I created a
I
page
just created a profile just to get on Facebook, and I comment on whatever and add news and spread the word. But I'd like a special page for events.
Yeah, definitely. It's
Yeah.
I think it's very important to have a personal page and then have your product or your writing page, because you're promoting.
Everybody's stuff with what I have to say. Good. Okay.
Because like if I wanted to promote this book, I don't want people like reading my personal. I'm here to promote this book, so that's what it should be about. So on my personal page, I might be spouting out about my children or putting a picture about something else or cats or whatever.
Well, I mean, using this
So you
main
keep them
page for
separate.
my advertising and everything else, I guess it's okay like that.
Oh, for your personal page. Oh yeah.
But I'm just saying, I don't even know if it's a personal page. I'm going to have to really check. I just put a profile up there. You know what I'm about. You know who I am, and that's it. And I'm in the middle of all these other people talking, but my thing's always usually about events. And then they got some personal stuff going on, which I'm not really interested in a lot of the personal drama. I want to be more in the networking, so that means I'm on their own page.
No, I mean, when you start, you have to start with your
Somewhere.
personal page when you start on Facebook. When you start your account, you get your personal page.
Okay.
Now, if you want to like separate yourself
Yeah.
from your business, then you start a new page, and you might call it the name of your show.
Actually, it's going to be the Writer's Guild. Well, you're doing the Writer's Guild page. I want to promote the events like here, because I've been plugging Facebook with these events.
Well, on our Writers Guild page.
But you're doing that already.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, this is what I did. I started the Writers Guild page. All I did was create a page. I found a couple pictures that we had, put them in the places. Like we could use some new pictures.
And that's what I've been doing, is I've been pulling that and any information I can, putting it on this page.
Okay.
You know.
Well, but I mean, that's how I did it. I started a new page.
Okay.
I put and then I added the URL so people, if they go to the Writers Guild Facebook page, they will find our website. And then I just put things in there. And a lot of times too, I'll get something in my email about how Chicken Soup for the Soul needs new writers, and I'll just post it on there.
See,
Because
my
I know
goal is to take everything that you do and bring it back up to Facebook where everybody knows what you're doing too. Anything to do with the writing, so I'm always, so that's what I was
Can
doing.
everybody who
I want to take
has,
everything that you have, for example, and all the work you're doing to promote us, and I want to keep bringing it back up.
use the Facebook page. Use the Writers Guild page.
Can
Okay, that's what I'm
everybody
talking
here
about.
add on to
Absolutely.
that? Yeah, your blogs or your own
Yes.
Facebook page, just link it on up to Writers Guild.
This is a really good point because
Yeah, that's what I need.
That's what
That's
if
what
you're in
the
the
Writers
Writers
Guild
Guild, and even if you're
Yes.
not, if you, all right, this is another really great piece of advice. If you have a book signing, don't be shy. The Writers Guild would love to have you post on their page.
Yep.
I have a Facebook page called Louisiana Book News. It's connected to my columns. I write a column on books for Monroe and Lafayette, and I get paid very little to do it, and it's a lot of work. And I do it because I love it, and I want to promote literature in Louisiana. So I made this Facebook page because I thought, y'all, I wanted to start the conversation. I wanted people to know they could post things. It's just another avenue. But everybody's been very shy about it.
Yeah.
And I keep telling them, go there. And did I tell you that? No, I told another friend of mine who got a book out. I'm like, go post. But I find people are hesitant. You should do that. Feel free to do that. And I know I am too, because I did a blog about City Park in New Orleans. I went to City Park a couple weeks ago, and I had these old pictures of my grandparents taken there. And what I did was I found the spots, and I took modern pictures, and I wrote a blog about it. And it was really fun. And I didn't do it to make money. I did it. This was a blog for fun. I mean, we'll talk about blogs in a minute. But I thought, well, what the hell? And I posted the link on the City Park Facebook page. And they wrote me and said, thanks so much, that was really fun. We'd love to have those pictures because we lost our pictures in Katrina. So I said, oh, I got plenty. And I sent them all my pictures, and we've been writing back and forth. And it was just a big thrill that I helped them have. They have a picture that of a fountain they've only had one other photo for. So I felt good. I mean, it was kind of fun. So don't be shy to cross-promote. And I'm going to talk about that a lot. There's two things I think you should walk away with today. One is to remember, social media is social. It's all about conversations. The other one is cross-promote. The more you can cross-promote, the more it's going to start spreading out like water in a pond. You throw a stone in a pond and it goes out. If you blog, put the link on Twitter, put the link on Facebook, put the link on somebody else's Facebook page. Get the word out and it'll start, And I think one of the greatest thrills for me is when I sometimes will say, my book column, what I do is because the newspapers will put my book column up on the website sometimes they don't, and then it disappears after a week because they only keep it live for a week and then you got to pay for it. So I put it on my blog so that when publishers, because I'm so bad about telling publishers I mention their book, so when they write me and say, did you ever write about my book? I'll say, well, yeah, it's on my blog and it's there. And then I decide, well, if I'm going to do that, I'll plug my blog on, so every Monday I'll put on my Twitter, Louisiana Book News this week or whatever. And every once in a while someone will retweet it. And it's like, oh, wow, someone retweeted it.
I have a question about that. It's really off the subject. The question I have is, when you're writing that column and you're getting paid for it,
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. Are you really supposed to be posting it on your blog too? Or do you have to get permission to do that? Or do you copyright it yourself? What's the deal?
Technically, because it's in the paper, it's copyrighted by them.
Yeah.
But in a sense, it's owned by me because I'm freelance. But I told them when I was doing it, and they didn't have any
They're
problem
okay with that.
So
You have to attribute it.
Yes, it says it at the very top. Yeah, they're sure to say that it's published every week. And like I said, I don't think they care because it's helping promote the newspaper. So, but yeah, you do have to be careful about things like that. That was one of the reasons why, because they were paying me. I won't go into details, but it was really bad. And finally, I said, "Can I please get a raise? I'm blogging. I got a newsletter and a Facebook page. I'm helping you promote this." Finally, we gave me a raise. It wasn't much, but it's something. Yeah, the joys of writing, huh? But hopefully that'll change.
So we should then make a list of other people's Facebook pages that we could post on, like newspaper Facebook pages or other publishers' pages, or how do you do that?
Well, I wouldn't just do it willy-nilly. I would do the one, like for instance, you're a member of the Guild, definitely use the Guild. You can have a book signing. Do your Facebook page, do your book's Facebook page, do the Guild's Facebook page, do mine, Louisiana Book News.
Show him the newsletter.
Maybe Barnesville has
all the
one, I
links
doubt
on
it.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted them to see.
Yeah,
Link
we
it
have to
there.
sort out.
Yeah, they can link it onto the newsletter too, if anybody's interested. I have a blog, and my editor at Acadiana Lifestyle just Googled, I don't know what she was Googling, but I mentioned I mentioned Acadiana Lifestyle magazine there for an article that I had written, and she said, I found your blog. I don't know what she had Googled, but by linking Acadiana Lifestyle. I just mentioned them because they didn't have a website yet. She was able to, and said, hey, will you blog for the magazine?
Oh, great.
You know, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know where this leads.
You never know where it will go.
Yeah.
She just happened to Google, and she might have been Googling herself. And I mentioned her.
Yeah.
And the magazine, and that's when she said, hey, we're going to put out Acadiana Lifestyle in New Iberia is going to advertise for bloggers. Did you guys
I saw that.
apply?
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Where was
They were
that?
taking submissions for blogs for their website because they decided to do a website. And I haven't seen it yet on their website, links to the blogs.
I
But
saw a call for submissions,
Who is
but I didn't
this?
know
Did
it
you
was
see that?
for that. I didn't know what it was.
it was so that on their recently created website that they did last year, they also wanted to link people who blogged about different things. And I blog about writing and knitting of all things.
Yeah.
So she says, I got that gig, but they were looking for
Other things.
other links, maybe a cooking link or something like what Cherie does. Definitely what Cherie does. You need to link it to Cheryl at Acadiana Lifestyle.
Huh, okay.
How do you spell Cheryl?
Cheryl Robertson.
Cheryl Robichaux.
How does she spell the name Cheryl?
Cheryl.
But here's, and two, talking about what Facebook pages, if you go to like a newspaper site like The Advertiser or The Advocate or KATC, a lot of times they set up their page so that they will take comments from readers, but it won't show up on their main wall. That doesn't mean that it didn't get there. So you might post like, I'm having a book signing, you know, blah, blah, blah. It might end up being like in the reader's comments as opposed to the main wall, but it will show up. Like for instance, the one that I'm paid to do is Lafayette Travel, and it's all one word. And you go there, it's people post things on there, but it doesn't show up in the main wall because they have it set up that way. So you'll see it over on the side. It'll have readers' comments and like I think I'm trying to think who it. There's Louisiana Lens, the photographer. Y'all familiar with that book? There's a couple of photographers that put out this beautiful coffee table book. And it's these beautiful swamp scenes, and they're always posting pictures on there. Like recently, they did one with a crawfish, empty crawfish thing, you know, the water, and says somebody add a caption. And so, but it's there on that page, but you can't see it quite as prominently. So sometimes that'll happen. A lot of times too, you know, we're all writers. One of the things I thought we would do up on the board, if we have a marker, I've also got a page. In fact, I'll send it around right now. Or you can do this during the break. But if you want to, if you put your email address on here and let me know, what your Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, I will be happy to share it with everybody here today, and we can all like each other.
Okay.
We like
can all be friends.
What is it, fourth grade?
But it's really good to like your friends. And it's really good to, one of the things I want to also stress is that on Facebook, you might have 100 fans, you might have 100,000 fans. And then a lot of people think, well, he's got more fans than I do. It's not the fan numbers that's so important. What's really important, and I've learned this through 2 or 3 conferences that I've been to, is who is talking about your page. And I have to apologize for the type of this. It's so tiny. Our printer made it really small. But I'll pass this around. Pretty sure I have one here for
Do
you
I
to
need to
see.
make copies, Cherie?
I just wanted to show.
Hi, come on in.
How are you? Guess we don't have it. Oh, it's in the it's in here. Sorry. Hello. Hi there.
Yes, I got lost. I apologize for being late.
Still got my good stuff on.
I thought I had it in here. I think it's in the back. It shows you.
What are you looking for?
It's showing it's on. Can't read with my glasses.
And that's your packet.
Now on the second to last page, Mary Barr, it says Facebook members. If you'll see the example, Lafayette Travel is the name of the page, and we have 2308 likes and 92 people talking about this.
Yeah.
What's important is the 92 people talking about this. because that means they're engaged, they're interested, they want to come here, they want to visit, you know. That you grab their attention, so that's what you really want to focus on.
Check in and look at it, so she has a new
Yeah.
page, whatever, it's just my extra.
You don't know.
And then if you put it on someone's, if you put information on someone's Facebook page, the hooks come in free. They don't like what you're seeing.
Now, I have a question.
Sure.
Let's say a person starts out with a Facebook page, okay? Then he posts pictures of grandkids, he talks about their interest in God, their interest in politics, which is very divisive. You have Republicans, you have Democrats, which if you're a Republican and you for a certain party, a certain thing, and the Democrat may say, I don't like him. And then this guy comes up with, well, look my new book.
Right. Right.
And the Democrat would say, I don't like his book. Okay, so is that wise to do that? Or if you're already in the midst of having a Facebook page with 1,000 friends, do you start fresh and say, just to promote your book and do stuff about your book and not have all this other drama, hatred, whatever against you?
Well, this is why it's important to have a personal page and your book page. Because because I do other Facebook pages for people and I have my books, I try to stay away from politics on my personal page. But every once in a while, it creeps up and it comes out. And I do it very nicely. I try to do it very nicely. Because I believe you should be very nice on Facebook. When people get ugly on Facebook, boom, I got in front of them. I just don't have time for meanness. And there's a lot of meanness on Facebook. So I would advocate that you would stay neutral on your personal page. If people connect you to your books, it's best not to turn people off. Now that doesn't mean you can't be. If you want to have opinions and you want to promote, say, if you really like somebody or you like a certain issue going on and you want to talk about it on Facebook, that's fine. But just you may have people defriend you for it, and it may affect your book, may not. But just it's very important that you keep that on your personal page and don't do it on your book page. So keep those two separate. Because you want to keep people liking your book and buying your book and being focused on your book and not focused on anything else. You want to give them a reason to.
Which brings up another question. Like this week, I had somebody, I got a Facebook message saying, Jane Doe likes your page, Rice Cooker Meals. What am I supposed to do with that? Am I supposed to contact her and do something or what? I mean,
It says on this piece of paper that they expect a response. You can say thank you.
So you're going to cover that?
That's from a blog I got.
Golden rules of Facebook. Respond.
Well, I'll read it tonight.
Okay.
I don't get a lot of those because my husband has a Facebook page, and so we have two. We're coming into our email, and so I used to get all that, and I don't anymore because because he has his account, I have my account, and it kind of screwed up the email notices. But you can if you want. What it means is that someone went to your page, not your personal page. Now, I hope y'all understand that. If you have a personal page, no one can be your friend unless you allow them to be your friend. So it's regulated, and this is a good thing. But if you start a book page and you say, and you're promoting Exploring Cajun Country, as the page, anybody can like it. And I want people to like it because I want them to follow me. So they just go there and like it. What's that?
You can kick them off too.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Because sometimes people will get on your page and start promoting beauty products.
Lesson for some reason is a name. And I've got all kinds of lessons.
Oh yeah, I do that too. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've had people from other countries saying, hi! And I'm like, who are you? And I've also had people spam.
Yeah, I
Which
think that's
sort
what.
of though talks about the reach that you have when
Yeah.
when you're on Facebook and different things.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, it's
the
true.
reach.
It's amazing. But I did have I have a friend who she contacted me and said, "Hi, how you doing? Did you hear about my new job?" And I'm like, "I don't think so." And she starts like talking about money I could make, and I'm thinking that's not her. Somebody had gotten into her account and was trying to instant message me. So before let me let y'all introduce yourselves because we all introduced ourselves before. So tell me your names. Where
I'm
you're
Keisha
from.
Turner. I'm from Ponchatoula, Louisiana.
Oh wow, another one.
And Miss Linda is my publicist.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What's your
This is
book?
I'm a new author, and this will be my first book that I'm trying to get published.
Yay.
About a book about angels,
Great.
and it's fictional because I created the characters, but it's based off of scripture.
Cool.
You know,
And her main goal is to find out how to get into the internet marketing. So this was perfect.
Fantastic.
Right.
Is it young
Glad you made
adult or is it, okay, I'm just wondering because there's a young adult series about that.
yes, ma'am.
Great. Well, welcome.
That's it.
Did you get it?
I've always liked to write, but I never got really serious about it until now.
Yeah. Oh, good for you.
Thank you.
And that's Sheree, the lady we were telling you about.
I'm sorry. I'm Sheree Cohen, yes.
Okay.
I'm a
Nice
local
to
writer
meet you.
and I do a lot of social media.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
on the
I'm
street
right.
then.
Well,
Yeah.
Katrina Pooler over here.
Oh, really?
No, actually, I was pre-K.
Pre-K.
I got here in 2004, but I was glad I was here because I ended up being like the evacuation place for some of my family.
Oh, really? Okay.
My mom ended up moving back here because she went to USL and she came back and went, I love it here. So she went to SLI. Sorry.
Well, I got lost.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my mother-in-law.
Hi.
And I'm just
We're
here.
buddies.
Oh, okay.
Get some information and,
Oh, good. You got a lot out of it.
Traveling companion.
yeah, that's it. To know,
Well, great.
support her.
Glad you made it.
Well, one of the things we were going to do at the break too is pass around information about each other, and if you are willing, well, you don't have to. Give me your email. I'll do a mass afterwards when I get home, so we can all like each other's Facebook and keep up on each other's
Yeah,
writings.
Facebook pages and everybody says.
Because writers need to support each other. So. Well, I'm sorry, Dennis, you had a question about Facebook. We're talking about Facebook right now.
Okay.
Well, on your business Facebook page, just to clarify, you can, like if you write a post, then you can link it at the bottom to your Twitter, your blog, your Facebook, your
Yeah.
personal Facebook.
Oh, sure. Yes, you can link to Facebook pages. For instance, if yes, we did. That was another thing I was going to talk about. You have your personal page that you start off when you get your account. You can create a page for your book. You can create a page for an organization. You can also create an event page, which I did for this event today, it's a temporary page. So it's kind of like you create the event and you can add things to it and you can link back to your page or link to the Writers Guild website, or then you invite people to come. And then they will get an invitation on their Facebook page and they can say yes or no. And I think some of you said yes, you're coming. Some said can't make it, whatever. So there's that too. But you can, a lot of times when I see people having an event, like if you're having a play, and I think, I'm going to promote this play on the Lafayette Travels page site, say, looking for something fun to do tonight? Go see Dennis Ward's new play, And I will add the link to your Facebook page. I can do that, or I can add it from Cité des Arts or whatever, wherever it's going to be. So, yeah, you can, I always encourage, we said this before, if you're going to post to Facebook, use photos, use links, give them visuals, always give them a way to find more information or a visual, because people love photos. And you can stick a cat in it, even better. Just kidding. Cats are huge. I don't know if y'all know that. Why is that?
My blessing page, start putting my cat on there.
Yeah.
I have a really cute cat.
It's so funny. And then I can't tell you how many times I get caught
There's a
up in
wee
that.
dog that blogs, just saying.
Yeah, dogs are big too.
There's a wee dog that has a little blog.
So, any other questions about Facebook? Does everybody got a good understanding of? Really, I really think for every book that you write, you should have your own Facebook page and have material posted to that Facebook. What we talked about before is how social media is really social. So you really have to think of it as conversations with friends and not about just telling people stuff. You want to tell them stuff. You want to say, hey, my book's coming out. But you want to do it like you're telling it to your friends. Think of it as a cocktail party. What would you say in a cocktail party? I mean, let's face it, we have to sell our books if we're going to write. So if we're in a cocktail party, we're going to have to go up to people and say, did you know my new book's out? Isn't it great? But see how I did it? I didn't go, my new book's out, you need to buy a copy, like an ad would. So think of it in that way. Think about what you would do in conversation with friends.
Last fall, Deborah LeBlanc gave a seminar. One thing she does that she's had great success with is she reads a book and she always goes to the author's website on Goodreads or whatever.
Yeah.
And she writes a paragraph review, and then she leaves the link to her book.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yes.
And she always
That's a
gets,
good idea.
she said she always gets sales.
Yeah. Wow.
Very good.
Very good idea. Do y'all know about Goodreads?
No.
It's a website that promotes books and reading. And if you read a book, and you have like a little library, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember about it used to
They're
really.
in the little bookshelf.
Yeah,
I know how to use it, so tell us about it.
Goodreads, we're talking about?
It's Goodreads. Yeah, it's kind of a. One of the interesting things about social media that I will pass on that I've learned, because we all talk about, because I grew up where you send your manuscript to publishers, they publish you, they distribute you all over America, and that's actually when people ask me what's the best way to get published, I always say if you go the traditional route, they give you a check and they distribute it everywhere, and the distribution is probably the most valuable thing because it's hard to do it on your own. But on the flip side, nowadays, there's so many things you can do with ebooks and self-publishing. But what's interesting to me is that word of mouth still, even when like Simon & Schuster might put you in the New York Times and get you in the front of bookstores, and yes, that will help you sell tremendously. But for all the rest of the people that get kind of the regular, blasé treatment from traditional publishers and self-publishing, word of mouth really sells your book. And Facebook and Twitter and all these things actually can really build your career. It might be slow, it might take a while, but it's not unlikely for people to really take off using these platforms. Word of mouth is very important. They find this over and over again, which really surprised me because I thought, with everything out there today, if you are on Facebook, like for instance, and say, I read Dennis Ward's new book and it's fantastic, it's very likely that some of my friends are going to buy your book because I said that. And that's what Goodreads is. Goodreads is the same thing. You have a library and you have books and then you write little reviews about them. And your friends will say, well, Cherie likes that book and I kind of like what Cherie likes. I'm going to go get the copy. So what Dennis was saying was that if you go to Goodreads and you read a book and you write a little review, put the link to your blog or your website and that'll help sell your books. So it's like, there's all these ways you can do cross-pollination on the internet. and it's a beautiful thing. And it really gets, after a while, it starts building and you'll start seeing things. To give you an example, I know I talked about emails, how I used to do promotions, and it's just a lot of work and money. And we had a author's alley here, Mona was here, and I put some stuff on Facebook and I think Twitter, and I got a lot of response. And again, I didn't say, I'm going to be at the library. I said, looking for a great Christmas gift, me and some other authors, and I think all the authors are going to be at the library. And, so here's a great chance to buy local writers, And I got a lot of friends that came out. And it was the first time I really saw social media paying off for me in a good way, because it was like people were sitting around, they saw it on their Facebook page, go, I must stop by the library today. So, it works. You might not get rich right away, but hopefully in time we all will. You always hope, right?
How are you listed on Twitter?
On Twitter?
Are you,
That's what I was gonna get to next.
Yep, what is Twitter?
And by the way, I have some stuff on here, there's some little things like post to avoid, like watch out for politics and just be more creative with your posts. As if I could just, I have so many friends who'll say, I'm so tired today, it's like, okay. And then I have another friend who's like, she always, at work, things are always going on, and it's always like, well, here we go again. I'm like, what does that mean? So try to be creative. We're all writers, so be creative with your posts.
I have a
dress it
sister-in-law, and
crazy.
she'll just do BLAA.
Yeah.
And she gets all kinds of people it starts a conversation, but I'm just going to talk to her about that.
know, it's weird. And what I find funny too is sometimes I'll see something really bizarre and I'll stick it up and I think no one's going to comment on that, and I'll get 30 comments, and I'm like, really? But I try to put weird stuff up, just to be different. And then there's all the political people. And then another thing I'd like to stress, I have a couple of writer friends who are awesome, and they're actually doing quite well, but they post constantly. And it's like, I might get 5 posts in a row. Don't overload your fans. They'll start tuning you out. 3 posts a day, spread them out a little bit, is probably the maximum you should do. And I did put it on here, but the key times that people are on Facebook are in the mid-morning. Usually people go to work, and they turn on the computer and they check their Facebook page. Or they might work for a little bit, maybe read the email, then check their Facebook page. So somewhere between 8 and 10 in the morning is a key time to post something, if you want to, Another time is around lunchtime. People might be looking for a good place to eat. So if you write cookbooks or you have anything to do with food and you want to pique people's interest, that's when they're hungry and they're checking Facebook.
All right.
And then the last time is around, I'm talking about your business time, but late afternoon, people are starting to think, what am I going to do tonight, or what's going on? They might look around 4 o'clock. But then you get a big surge around 8 because people have eaten dinner and they're checking their Facebook at home. And then that's when people are more conversational and if you start watching your Facebook page, you'll start seeing how, I don't know, around 8 o'clock all my friends just get chatty and start talking about movies.
Because usually when I check Facebook, I check and I scroll all the way till I get to a post that I've already seen.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a typical way for people to do Facebook? Because it wouldn't really matter when you posted it because it would come up whenever they checked it, right?
Yeah. And two,
or does it come up in order of time?
There's 2 ways your wall is set up, and you can change it. One is most recent, and one is top stories. So whichever one's getting the most conversation. And that's another reason why you want people talking about your post. Because the more people talk about the post, the more it's going to show up on your friends' walls. Because they switched it, and not all posts show up on walls.
Yeah, I've noticed
which
that
I think
too,
is
It's a little confusing now that they've switched it though, Sheree. I got the hang of the old Facebook, the new one, I look at it and I'm going, I don't know how it works anymore.
I liked it the old way.
Me too, but how, with the new change and off on the left-hand side now, I guess I don't understand the timeline thing, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you just reply back to a post, or I don't know
Sure.
I know you can, and then you have the space where you make a comment, and that will go onto your friends' polls, right?
Yes.
That's all off on the left-hand
Well, it's
side.
whoever's looking at the post.
Yeah.
If you have a friend who has 10,000, this is another piece of advice. If you have a friend who has 10,000 fans and they post something and you reply to it, although her fans are seeing your post.
Okay.
So that's also, it has to do with writing, and you can sneak in your book somehow there. You got all those people, and they might all of a sudden go, "Ooh, I want her as my friend," and you might get some friend requests, or they might go to your book page or something. So that's another way of sneaking in a little extra audience. But yeah, but you can. There's all kinds of ways you can adjust the way your page looks. They make it a little bit more complicated than people need to, but it's free. People complain about Facebook all the time, and I always say, it's free.
Yeah.
I don't know how they make money on it, but
Advertising.
Oh, it's that scroll of advertisements.
Now, that's another thing I could, every time I go to a conference, I've been told over and over again that those ads are not really worth it. So if you start thinking, I'll take out a Facebook ad, I haven't heard any really good reasons to do it.
I had somebody go on Amazon post a review, and then they must have clicked something, and it came up as an ad for my book, and it was, and I never paid for it. But I don't know if it just came up on my page, or if it was on everybody's page.
Wow.
That was friends with, us or whatever, but it was,
Yeah.
I was like, yay, it was interesting.
Yeah, what was it? I went to a website. I think, I'm not sure how it works either, but I went to a website because someone asked me to review this little bag that you put in the microwave for vegetables. And so I went to the website to look at the information, and after that, I kept getting their ads on my Facebook page. Everywhere I went, there was an ad for this. So it triggers something.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things embedded in websites where you'll get it. Any other questions about Facebook? Well, moving on to Twitter, and I'm going to, and this is you'll notice I didn't come in here with a laptop today. This gives you a good example of how I work. I sit at home and I'm like online all the time. I have my phone, I have my so when I get out, I'm like, I don't even want a cell phone with me. So I should have brought my iPad. That would have been a good idea.
You want to use one? It is.
No, it's okay. It's long. Oh, well,
you could use. You want to? Because I have it is connected.
Oh, okay.
There's
the library.
Yeah.
No, I was just explaining why I'm not standing here before you with all my technology.
Because I would like you to explain this Twitter stuff.
Twitter needs to
Twitter.
explain. The only reason I haven't joined is because I'm not sure exactly how.
All right.
I need to, but
Here's
when I read, I need to.
Here's the okay. Here's the simple way of Twitter. What Twitter is a very short and sweet way of communicating. It's like Facebook, but it's instant and it's quick. And I don't know. You look like you have a lot too.
That's what's so mind-boggling. I can't.
It is. It's mind-boggling. Me too.
And sometimes people are saying things that I don't understand. It's like a little hashtag and a thing, and I'm like, what is it? I don't know what that is.
Well, what Twitter is good for here.
I guess business-wise.
It's what it does is you're getting, it's 140 characters. It's all you can put in that little box. If you go over 140 characters, it's fine, but it won't show up. And the person will have to actually work at something to get the rest of the message. So it's 140 characters. If you want to get your message across, keep it to 140, and that includes the link and everything else, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But what it's there for is to give you quick, instant information. It usually comes to your cell phone or your iPad. I do it all on my desktop, so I'm not really hip with cell phones. I'm going to admit that now. And the reason I'm not hip with cell phones, first of all, I don't like talking on the phone, but I do this so much that when I get outside of my house, I work at my home, that I don't want the technology with me. I want to see what people look like face to face. So I'm so glad to be able to talk to people. I don't do a lot with my cell phone, but I do Twitter a lot on my desktop. So I can't tell you exactly how wonderful it is to have all this feed on your phone, but I'm sure it's fabulous. But I do read this on my desktop. And what it's there for is basically for your phone. So it's to say, my book signing starts in 5 minutes. If I put that on Twitter, it goes out to all my Twitter fans, and if they see it on their phone, they might like, oh, I'm right next door, I'm going to go over and see Shuey's book signing. So it's a quick way to get information out, and it's short and sweet. I do it for Lafayette Travel. Again, I have their Facebook page, and I also do their Twitter. So a lot of times, if I'm going to say, like right now, the Cinema on the Bayou Festival is going on, and they're showing films here at the library. I could say, if I had my phone or my iPad right with me right now, I could Twitter to Lafayette Travel and say, Cinema on the Bayou starting at the South Regional Library in 5 minutes. And it's just another way of getting information out to people. But it depends on what you're doing. Since I do, I work for hire for Lafayette Convention Visitor Bureau Commission. And when you're trying to get tourists in, it's not exactly like Cinema on the Bayou starting in 5 minutes. That's not exactly a tourist thing. So you got to know your audience. Is this something people who want to come to Lafayette need to know? No, not really. Because they may live here and be a fan of my Twitter feed because they want to know what's going on in Lafayette, but probably most of them live somewhere else and are interested in visiting. So you got to think about who's your audience and what you want to impart to them. If you have a book signing and you know, it's happening that day, it is a good thing to say, my book signing is today at 1, please come out, or whatever. Or if you have a blog and you post to your blog, and you can, if you get a post on Facebook, also post on Twitter. Or if you put something on Facebook, pictures of your, my cover's out on my book, what you can do is tweet this and say, my picture's out on my new book, and put a link to your Facebook page to the pictures. So it's all about cross-promoting. It's just another avenue of getting information out. But again, it's like you have to know who you're appealing to. If this is not something you want to mess with, I would think, I mean, Twitter's a very good platform, and there's I put something in here, 7 ways Twitter matters to authors, and it gives you a lot of information. I borrowed a lot of blogs, by the way. I like Twitter because I learn a lot. I find other authors posting things that are fascinating, and I find out what books are coming out. I find out, and then I'm connected to all the news feeds, so it's also good. You know what's really great about Twitter? And this, you remember when Isaac came through? When I was flying to a wedding on that Friday, and I didn't know if the roads to New Orleans were open to the airport. And they kept saying they weren't. And so the Twitter feed actually helped me find out how to get to the airport. Because someone popped up, and so did Facebook, both of them. Someone said, oh yeah, it's open, airline highway's open, go, Luling. And so that's what I did. So it's very handy that way. It's very handy with traffic.
How do you get to Twitter? What do you
It's
do?
the same thing as Facebook. You just go to twitter.com.
You have to have a special phone to do that?
Special what?
Phone service to do that?
No, I do it through my computer.
You do?
I don't have a smartphone, so...
That's what I'm asking. Okay,
yeah.
good.
So I do it all on my computer.
Still in ballgame.
So Twitter is, you have people following you.
Mm-hmm.
So
And you can
I guess
follow
you have
that.
to post on Facebook, follow me at Twitter, and then the address or whatever. So
Sure.
you can have people do.
Oh, that's a good. I mean, I'm like, how do we get followers? Because the only way I've got
Right.
followers so far is just by following them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they follow you back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they have other people that they, it just, and it's become, it's really just for me, it's been for education. I haven't really gone,
Yeah.
it's been people that are teachers,
Yeah.
teachers and teachers who write.
Yeah.
So if I
Well,
have,
what you put in your description matters too, because if you say you're a writer, you're an author, you live in Louisiana, these are all keywords that if people are looking for other writers or whatever, because I keep getting people from weird places wanting to be my Twitter friend. I'm like, why? And I think it's just they either like Lafayette or they want to visit or I don't know. I mean, who knows why? But it's what you put in your
Regulate
description.
that, right? If somebody's following you, they're following you.
Right.
But
they don't hurt.
Is it easy to delete keywords, change them?
Sure. Yeah. You can edit your profile at any time. Yeah, it's what you put in your profile. And I would strongly recommend that you not go Bobo 2 and then have something really stupid because people, I get some of those requests and I'm thinking, who are these people? And someone who likes sexy clothes or something, and trying to make it a little bit more sophisticated, especially if you're promoting a book, because you want people to read you and not go, I don't know if I want to follow that person, Don't give them a reason. Put your name, or put the book title, or, make it really strong to promoting what you're doing.
I was given that advice to use your name.
Yeah, I use my name. And, sorry.
I'm not that long with Twitter, probably like 2 weeks. And, okay, you have your little discover, you go to find friends, and so you're putting in a name of somebody, and they're on Twitter. In fact, it was you.
Oh?
I tried to find you on Twitter.
Really?
And I couldn't find you.
Huh.
I typed in your name correctly, and so I guess I'm a little foggy about just just.
Well, because one of the things too is like, I'll talk a little bit about hashtags, is that you can connect with other people using hashtags, which is basically addresses of other people. So sometimes like when I wanted to, if I'm promoting something at Cite des Arts, I'll put their hashtag in there, which is their little Twitter address, so that when it goes out, they get it goes on their Twitter feed too, and it kind of spreads it out a little bit. And it makes them happy that I'm promoting them for one thing, and it kind of spreads the message a little bit. So like my hashtag, I think it's a little A thing. I have some, to give you an idea what hashtag is, I have some sample hashtags.
Yeah.
Over by the blue cartoon.
What is yours?
Mine's Cherie Cohen, I think. As far as I know.
But you can advertise your Twitter
So tags
on
in
your
general.
Facebook page and then have your friends or whoever you want to follow you at that,
Yeah.
to advertise it. And then you'll find followers from that.
Would you repeat that again?
It's good to advertise your Twitter address and tell them on your Facebook page to follow them at Twitter.
Oh,
That
yeah,
way you
yeah.
can find followers
Okay.
that way.
Yeah, if you have a book page on Facebook, it wouldn't hurt to say every once in a while, for up-to-date information, follow me on Twitter. And then if someone follows you on Twitter, it's kind of a nice thing to follow them back, especially if they're another writer. And that way, too, their fans might see you on their page, and it kind of spreads. And I'm starting to get Twitter requests from people that are kind of way out there. I'm
I
not
think
sure
that
where they
tags
come from,
are
so I'm
really
not sure how that
bad.
happened.
I really knew of tags, but didn't really know what they really were, or even if they were that important to always use them.
Hashtags?
Yes, but now you're learning it is, right?
Yeah, it can help. Those are some from, I have a list of ones in Lafayette area because for the longest time I didn't even think to do it. And then I thought, well, I need to include them in the conversation so that they know that I'm promoting them and that, Lafayette Travel's working for them, that kind of thing. So all these things you got to think about. One other thing too, if you want to put a link, let's say you have a blog and it's all about knitting. So we're going to learn, Lynn's teaching you how to knit a scarf. And which, by the way, is a very popular blog, art, how-to, crafty things. So you want to put it on your Twitter. Today I'm learn how to make a something scarf, and you want to put the link to your blog. Let's say the link is going to be maybe this big, so it really takes up a lot of characters. What you can do, there's a website. There's several websites. I use Bitly. Can you see the name of it? It's a website where you can go. You drop in the long address, URL, and you hit shorten and it makes it smaller. And then you put that on your Twitter feed. And so that saves you characters. So that's one way of getting around it. You can also do this with Facebook, but you don't really have to. But definitely do it with Twitter because if you have a really long link and it goes over the 140 characters, it won't all show up on the Twitter feed. They'll get it in their phone, but they won't actually, it's kind of difficult to see. So
Is that here the name of the website?
It is. I think I did, yes. Where did I put it? Pretty sure I put it in here. Yes.
The middle of the page.
It's right above 7 ways Twitter matters to authors. Say links are much longer than what you see above. Yeah, you can see I have 3 examples of Twitter tweets I did this week.
Okay.
One's from it's from my personal Twitter. I use it to promote mostly book stuff. So if I know people are doing book signings, I'll tweet it. Like I said, Poppy Tucker is going to sign a copy of a book. And then the poetry reading at UNO. And then this one down here was a blog I did. I did a blog about how you can experience winter in the Deep South because Houston, this is my travel blog. Houston had ice skating going on, and the Ritz-Carlton in Georgia was doing something like sledding or something, using fake snow. And so what I did was I said, Deep South residents can have their balmy winters in ice skate too. And then I included the link to the blog and a hashtag for 2 people I was writing about. So now those people know I'm writing about them, and hopefully they'll invite me to stay at the Ritz. It's a gorgeous place. I'm on their email list. That's how I knew they were doing ice skating. Well, does anybody have any questions about Twitter? I know we're supposed to break around now.
What is the thing? I don't know if I'm making this up or what, but it seems like there's like a pound sign as a symbol for something on Twitter. Is that true or not?
Yes.
I thought the pound sign was the hashtag.
I think the pound sign and the 8 are the same thing, but I'm not totally sure. I'm not the biggest expert on Twitter, I have to admit.
Because I tried it for like 3 or 4 years ago, and it was just like way out of control.
Pound sign is groups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like if you put a hash at the pound sign, it goes to like if you do,
Say that again.
it's a group.
Oh,
So it'll go to a, it might be, for me, it's like, conversations about gifted education or something. It might say, pound sign GT 4th grade or something. Who knows? I have no idea. But it would be a group that would be, and that would be a conversation going on with a group of people.
That's very true, because I recently they had a fabulous woman come in and talk to our groups in Lafayette about social media. And while it was all of us in there were learning about this, she got all of our Twitter names, and we would constantly be talking to one another to this group. And that's what she did. She had a group, and everybody in the conference was connected. So,
And I think that's why it's confusing though, because if you follow somebody and they're having a conversation with the group, but you're not in that conversation with the group, it gets confusing because you read their post and it makes no sense.
yeah. And Twitter sometimes doesn't make sense. I have friends who write, and I get, I look at it and I'm thinking, I don't know what she's saying. Or I don't know, her emails are the same way.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and there are times when I'll text her and say, email me and use long sentences. But anyway. Well, let's break for lunch. And if anybody wants to put their email address, and you can just check if you have a Facebook page or Twitter or a blog. Put your name in the blog, though, so we can all go and visit your blog and like it. If you want to. Totally up to you. But I will share it with everybody and we'll all like each other. What's that?
Smash words.
Smash words? Yes. The ebook
Newsletter.
I'm just starting to look at
Book marketing strategy.
Oh, really?
And he's really big on Twitter. And he has a whole lot to say about how Twitter doesn't So I was wondering if you wanted to share that. And then today I got an email from Spotlight. They have a free book on Facebook marketing fundamentals for authors.
And I communicate with them personally, but I see the things that they're doing. And so, like, suddenly, it's just not in my everyday work. But I got an invitation to go to the south of France this summer. So now I'm suddenly more interested in the paddling in the Mediterranean. Absolutely. Well, normally I wouldn't have known what to do with that other than Google paddling in the Mediterranean. But these are people who do it. So, like, for example, there was a guy who was doing a seminar on, and you can put in the group, you can put, stuff up. And I have a fishing kayak. My son has a fishing kayak. He does a lot of seminars. He does webinars, not face-to-face. I don't know where he's located. He does webinars on outfitting your fishing kayak. So I've watched 2 or 3 of those because I don't really know about how to go about doing it. And I'm not a fisherman anyway, so I'm really not interested in doing that. But there are also some things that you can hook. And I don't know what all those hooks are for. It's but it's Google Plus, and it's friends and it's groups.
Plus with National Writer Project.
Connected on Google Plus.
Well, I got on one because for the National Writer Project. I've been on his. He does a webinar thing. Basically, it's a hangout. We all
Right.
So then I ended up with a YouTube video of me reading a chapter. You know, yeah. So there's so many good things that are around. And, I mean, I think you just have to.
Blogspot is really easy. It's the one I use through Google. YouTube. It's very easy. You set up an account. They basically, it'll say, post new blog. You hit the button. You get a box. You paste in your blog into the body. You put a headline at the top. And then when you're pretty much done, and you can add pictures, you can add links, you can link things. It's pretty simple. It's got a little bar where you can click on link and it'll give you a little space to put the URL and it links it for you. It's amazing. Because when I started out working on the internet, I used to work on the internet web page for the Advocate when I went to the Advocate, and we used to have to do all that HTML. And I'm not a technical person, so I hated it. I'm a writer. So nowadays, it's so much easier. It's just incredible. But one of the things you have to remember, and this goes for everything, is that you need to put keywords in there. Does everybody know what keywords that refers to? Keywords are things that will, it connects to the search engines like Yahoo and Google. So when you have a blog, there's a little, like in Blogspot, there's this section over on the right-hand side that say labels. I think it's labels, keywords, I forget. And you click on that and you put the keywords in that box. And you don't have that much space, so you can't put that many. But let's say I was writing about, for example, well, if I was writing about an author and their name was, Judy Christie is the woman who from Northern Louisiana I just mentioned. So if I was reviewing her book, I would put in the keywords Judy Christie, title of her book. I might put Monroe authors or books to read about Louisiana, that kind of thing. So that when people are, the keywords are the words you're going to think that people are going to put in Yahoo to look for your blog. If that makes sense. So for instance, if, like your website, if someone was looking for your website, what would they put in Yahoo? They would look for your name, they would look for the title of your book, they might not remember your name, so they might put Lafayette author, or they might put New Orleans author, or, So you think of all those things that people would put in Yahoo and Google looking for you, and that's what you use as your keywords.
Are you limited, or is it unlimited keywords?
Well, on the blogs, you're limited. There's only so many they allow, at least on Blogspot. If you have a website, usually websites you can do a lot. And if you have your own website, a lot of times they want you to do every page, and you can really go to town on it so that the search engines pick up a lot. You can also pay people to do it for you. In fact, I mentioned search engine optimization. I'm no expert on it, that's for sure. But there are companies out there who will actually take your websites and your materials and do it for you if you want to invest in that and then make it in that way. Because the search engines will pick you up. And it's really good if you want to know how you're doing, is search for your name, search for the title of your book, do some searches and see how well you're out there. If you don't come up, then try to beef that. That's something you might want to focus on. But usually after a while, when you have a blog and a Facebook page, you're going to come up. So it's pretty easy to find anybody these days. But it helps. And every time you do a blog, always put your name in the keywords too, so that no matter what you're writing about, even if you write about somebody else, someone's looking for you, they'll pull up that blog, at the same time. So that's what blogs are good for. They're also really fun ways to write short things that you really want to write about. So I wouldn't just do it, let me write this blog. Do it because you got something you really want to say. Do it because you're passionate about something. Neil does videos on cooking. I mean, that's awesome because people really want to see how to cook something. They might, you get a wonderful cookbook, but it's like, especially, I don't know if you've ever seen Emerald. I used to always laugh because his books are bestsellers. I could, huge recipes, and I would look at this and go, I'm not doing that. Now, maybe if he demonstrated it, it might be okay, but.
YouTube has, they have a lot of good tutorials
Was that what you do? You put them on YouTube and then put them inside your blog? Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
So you tape it, put it on YouTube, and then put it wherever you want it, right?
Put it wherever you want it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've done that with Lafayette Travel. I have a little flip camera. I would take like pictures of parades and stuff and just drop it here and there. But I just felt like I wasn't doing a professional job, so I stopped doing it. But sometimes I do. I did homecoming once. It was kind of fun, just watching the band play the marching song. But yeah, it's all, and it gets you in another place. So now Neil Bertrand's and YouTube. I mean, your name is on all these places. And so after a while, you're going to run into, it's kind of like, I don't know what the equivalent would be in a social situation, but it's just having yourself, it's just like going to a million parties. You're everywhere. So that's what you want. You want your name everywhere. You want people to keep running into you and going, oh, she must be good. She's everywhere. But so a blog is just another place to get your name out there and have fun with. Really.
I've been trying to figure out how Kim Kardashian got so well known.
Yeah, that's a good question. So anyway, what else was I going to say? Number 5, it can be lucrative. This is a great, I'm on all these loops, these freelance loops that will say that people are looking for writers, and I get there are a lot of people looking for bloggers. There are companies like, my husband's on here, but I mean like Stellar Jewelry. Let's say they wanted to start promoting themselves that way. They might get someone to blog about their business. So they might blog about what it takes to put together a piece of jewelry, very expensive, fine jewelry. And should I close the door? Is it the fire alarm? I hope not. We could tweet it. What's going on?
I think it's the back door. There's a bunch of kids. I think it opened the right there.
Have them arrested.
There you go.
But I mean, if you might find someone who wants to write, maybe the Rice Federation wants to hire you to be a blogger for their website. I mean, there's lots of opportunity out there for bloggers. So if you're looking for some freelance writing, that's a good way of doing it, and it's fun because it's not long. It's usually 350 words, 400, and I don't know, it's fun. Like I said, this California tour company hired me to do Deep South stuff. And
how did they find you?
How did they find me? I forget.
They Google your name?
Probably.
Yeah, it could be. I think maybe Lafayette Travel might have recommended me. I know once Louisiana Tourism gave my name to somebody. Maybe that's where it was. I don't know. Sometimes, you get your name out there and people will refer you or, But and then I'm on these lists. Maybe I might have done that too. There's these lists that'll have, like who's looking for work for freelance jobs, and they have a whole section for blogging now. So it doesn't pay a whole lot. Social media doesn't pay a whole lot, but it's a good way of. It is kind of fun, and it is a nice avenue for writing.
It gives you exposure.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I can put my little thing at the bottom, like my bio and my link. So,
Resource box. Is that what they call it? Resource box for more information?
Excuse me, it's more like it's my bio, more like it's like Sherry Cohen is a travel writer living in Lafayette, Louisiana, that kind of thing. Visit her at, I put those. I kind of feel like everybody who writes, especially for newspapers and blogs and gets paid very little, you should have a plug at the bottom.
So you put your email there?
I do. No, I think, what do I put? I think I put my website.
Okay.
Or I just put my book title.
They can find your email on your website?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'd rather they do that because my website email is not my real email. It's kind of like it goes through the website to my email.
Okay.
That way it gives me a little bit of buffer. You don't want to get too comfortable with people. You don't want to get too much out there because, I don't know how much you worry about your privacy, but there is a privacy issue here that you get, you don't want to. I wouldn't, like, for instance, post your Because you know that on your Facebook page, they'll have like your phone number and your email, I guess, if you want. I'm not sure about email, but there's a place for your phone number. I don't know if you want to do that because you don't know who's going to call you. You might have people calling you, trying to sell you how to, publish a book or something. So it's up to you how much information you want to get out there. So it wouldn't hurt to have a Yahoo address or something as another email, instead of your home address. One thing I want to mention, Neil mentioned a couple of things. He said Smashwords.com is a company that does electronic books. And if you go there, the owner of the company has a free download about how to market your book. It's all on book marketing, right?
Yep.
And
He talks about Twitter a lot.
And that's what we did at our last workshop with Smashwords.
Yeah, I'm sure I've been there.
Yes.
I really want to learn about
You were doing
that.
a story out of town
Yeah,
at that time.
yeah.
That was good. And that's why what you're presenting here today is kind of like following up on that too. It's good.
Yeah, if you do electronic books, if anybody does ebooks, social media works with that so well. And in fact, it's imperative, I think, to do because
that's
you've
how-
got to get the word out there, and it's the only way you can do it.
That's how 50 Shades of Grey got started.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have friends who are doing ebooks and making money at it. Go figure. I remember when it first started getting big, I kept thinking, yeah, but how do people find you? And then you do it word of mouth, and you build niches. She writes very specific niche, and she makes money that way.
Our newspaper newsletter every year around Christmas time was averaging 400 people.
A month?
How many what?
400.
Goodness.
What does that mean?
Books. She had some published. She had some on her ebook. Her ebook. She writes for the youth.
Are you saying she 400
Yeah,
sales a
that's
month
big
on
market.
whatever book she
She said it's slowing down now.
Huh.
But before Christmas, that's what she was averaging.
Well, how many ebooks does she have that produce 400 sales? Is it one ebook or is it multiple ebooks?
She has
And she has a series.
Wow. See, and series are really good. That's what I
She
understand.
writes for the youth.
You have
and the youth are
series. You do
interested
very
in
well
the
with.
paranormal.
And see, that's a niche too, because I have a friend, she writes specific type of young adult, and she has a series. So she'll do this thing on Amazon where Amazon will make her book free for like a week. And so people download the free book, and then they like it, and then they go look for the rest of them, and they pay for those. And then she makes money. She was making like $600 a month, which would be really nice to have money coming in like that. But again, she promotes it on Facebook and Twitter. It's the same kind of thing. You still get the word out. And I have friends who have who are published the traditional way, but they get the rights back on their book, which is what I need to do. And they put their books electronically. They're now ebooks, and so they all are supporting each other. They made like this little group, and so I see them all promoting. My sister in romance her ebook is only 99 cents this week, and that really drives the sales. Everybody goes, oh, 99 cents, and she gets a big surge. And again, you like her book, and you go buy the other ones. So it's really, if you're going to do electronic books, do the social media with it. I think it helps a lot. The other thing Neil said was HubSpot.com has a download that talks about book marketing. So that's another one. What is it? HubSpot. HubSpot.com. So those are two places where you can get download books for free that talk about book marketing and social media.
What was the first one?
Smashwords.com.
Smashwords.
Smashwords is a website where you can do formatting for ebooks.
Shows you how to do it.
You can format your book according to their style guide, and they will put it on like 5 or 6 different ebook readers, like for Sony and other kinds.
Is it expensive?
Free.
And you can take what you've already written also, because we have an author who did that already. Is that what John Francois did?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, okay.
John
So you
did
can
it.
take what you've written already, and you can go through that format and put it on there.
Yes, free.
What do you do about the cover and all that and the ISBN? I mean, They do all that too?
I have my own
That's why I'm just interested
ISBN,
in
and I have
e-books.
somebody to do my covers for me. So to me, it's not a problem. But you can, something else I want to share with you is Odesk, odesk.com. You can go there and you can probably hire an editor or artist or professional. And another one is guru.com, who you can outsource whatever you need done to people on guru.com. Now, what was your question now? You had a question about, I forgot what it was.
Book cover.
Book cover.
But you can go online and get people to help you do a book cover. You have to do that yourself, I think, for ebooks. Huh?
We do, like for my cookbooks, we do a photo shoot,
Yeah.
either at my house or my food stylist house, and we do the cover there. So that, I pay a lot to have it done, but the cover, you sell a book by its cover, especially a cookbook. So,
We could have a web, we could have a seminar on that too, illustrations.
Well, I was already thinking about having Neil come back since he has a publishing company. He knows a little bit about everything, possibly sharing it with us. You interested, Neil?
sure, possibly.
Possibly.
Well, so does anybody have any other questions about blogging? So, I mean, think about it. I mean, some of you are already doing it, but it's actually a fun thing. You can also do excerpts from your book. You can do recipes from your books. You can do things. I mean, I strongly encourage you to not just write to promote the book, but to, like, the same thing that we talked about before, engage your readers, start a conversation.
Offer the first chapter of your book so they can.
Yeah.
Give them that's a very good idea, right? And then put it on your Twitter and your Facebook page and say,
Go
if
read my
you're
first
interested,
chapter.
here's a sample of my new book. This is a good way to start a buzz too. Another good idea too that blogging, I don't know how many of you seen Julie and Julia, or Julia and Julia.
Got it.
Yeah?
Yes.
It's a story about a woman who decided to do Julia Child's, I forget the name of the book now, her big French cooking book. And she goes through the whole book doing a recipe a day, and she blogs about it. And this got the attention of a New York publisher who published the book, and then it became a movie. So a lot of times if you have trouble, specifically for people who are like, I can't, make myself write this book, blogging might be perfect for you. So what you do is you blog little pieces of your book every day, and you do it for you. I mean, you can do it for the rest of the world, of course. But and then you get feedback from people. This is another good thing. People might say, "Oh, I love that. That was a beautiful passage." Then it gives you that confidence, like, "Yeah, I'm on the right track." Or they might say, "I'd like to know more about this character," and then you get a little bit more feedback. And then after a while, you get to the end of the year, you got a whole book. You wrote the book, or at least you wrote the bones of the book. And so it might be just a great exercise to get your book done.
On my blog, I decided, you're supposed to find your niche and something that you're an expert in, put it on it. Well, I taught coping skills for years to people trying to paint. And I said, well, I can apply coping skills to writers, And because coping skills are coping skills. And I said, the way I finish my novels is get them approved so that I would have an assignment a week. And, I said, all right, I don't know what else will happen with this, but if I put blogs up, they might not go anyplace. But at the end, I will have something to put into a book or a pamphlet or something. And I have been accepted by the Writers League of Texas to give a workshop with what has been my blog, actually. Because if I had decided to go ahead and do that and convert my coping skills from chronic pain patients to writers, I'd never done it. I wouldn't have enough reading. So that fits into what you were saying about using it too.
Yeah. One thing leads to another.
One thing leads to another, and it gives you incentive to keep adding to it until you got something, because you're doing a little bit at a time. If you say, I'm going to have to write this whole thing, no, I can't do that. But if you say, a little bit. and eventually, you got something, you can present it someplace for something.
It's, it's good. I teach a class to seniors in life writing at UL, and we have a blog. And it's hard getting them to give me stuff to put on, because they usually give me something printed. They print it out and they don't send it to me by email. And so I've been kind of lazy lately about retyping these. But what's great about it is that they're all writing in this class, and we were going to put it on a blog and show, because I think what they write is beautiful and it's important, good, great life stories. And so I'm trying to get them more and more into it. But that's another good example. The Writers Guild, like you said, can showcase all the writers' members' work. So it's a good showcase too.
If you become a member and you receive the newsletter, the Traveling Pantry was created because I was inspired by that movie, and also too by one of our local authors of a cookbook, who is Jeanette Poole, Clark Culinary Recipes and Remnants. And I started cooking all the recipes in her book, and I dated, and then I blogged, then I switched. But I am thankful to do the recipe, cook it, and put it on there. But she has quotes. She has inspirational things. She has basic facts. I mean, I've got so many categories, but it all comes back to the Writers Guild. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we created a Writers Guild cookbook. So guess what? I'm also plugging it on Traveling Pantry, not only just her recipes and her families, but also entries that were in the Writers Guild. So I learned a new word today. I forgot it already. That's what I've been doing. What was that? Cross networking? I want to say cross pollinating, but that's
I know. Cross marketing. Yeah, cross promoting.
So there's something out once it starts, it's like it keeps going and going. But I just want to tell you, I don't do it every day because I don't cook but once a week. I try to cook a recipe, and one of them I can't get out of because my family keeps making me repeat, which is chewy brownies, and I also, stuff like that. But it is. It's good. I've got a lot of responses from the cooking blog.
Yeah, that's great.
And she has a sister. And I have an inspirational blog, but I also have created a second one.
She has a sister and put a lot of recipes in our cookbook.
Yeah, she's a good cook too.
Mary McCall.
Mary
And if
She's
you want to
wrapping up this
they're
casserole, so
selling.
I want to go check.
Do you have books with you today?
I'm in the process of dog sitting between two different ends of town, so today I didn't bring books. Most of the time I am loaded down with books and bags and everything.
If anybody wants a copy, the Writers Guild has a cookbook. It's a fundraiser. Just what?
Only $10. Yeah, it's only $10. There's more recipes in there.
Yeah. But I'm going to just. Oh no, Pinterest is next. Pinterest is next. Okay.
I like Pinterest.
Yeah, I know Liz on Pinterest. Who else?
Sheree found it on Pinterest. I don't know how.
Okay. Does everybody know what Pinterest is?
No, please explain.
When I first started doing social media for people, someone mentioned Pinterest. And I kept. Well, the first thing they said was it's a bulletin board where you pin things, and I thought, that's ridiculous. And I thought, why in the world would I want to be part of this? And then I went there and I looked at it and I thought, really? And then I started it, and I absolutely love it. I can't believe it. And then apparently women are really into it more than men. But if you will see, I also have a blog post about Pinterest, 10 tips for authors using Pinterest. And one of them even says, if you're a guy, don't ignore it. Because a lot of men think it's Pinterest is just for women. What it is you get an account like anything else, and it's free. And then you start a board, and the board has a specific topic. Like it could be rice cooking, or not rice cooking, but rice meals or rice recipes.
Your rice cooker.
Yeah, something like that. Something catchy. You want a catchy title. And then what you put there are pictures, websites, and information relating to this. Now, you can do, what a lot of people do is they'll put, a lot of women will have a fashion site because they'll see good looking clothes that they like, and they will just they put it in their board. That means you can go back later and say, well, who was it that did those cute shoes? And then you go look at it. I do a lot on home improvement because I keep thinking someday I'm going to make money and I'll be able to fix my house. So I think this is what I want my shed to look like. This is what I would love to do in my bathroom. Because you see it, in your travels on the internet. and you think, I want to remember this. I like the way that tile looked, or whatever. That's what most people, I think, use it for. And recipes are huge. People they see a recipe online, and we think all the time you see this, oh, that's a wonderful recipe, and then you forget where you saw it, and you can't find it again. Well, this way, you pin it. You pin it to your board. Recipes I got to have, or something. That's the name of your board or something. The way you can use it to promote yourself, though, is to, you can have a book, like let's say you write children's books that are set in New Iberia or Cajun country. So you might want to do something like Cajun Country for Children, or Cajun Country Books, or Cajun Tales, or something like that. And then you put your book in there, of course, but then you put other people's books in there. Or you put things that relate to your book. You might want to, if your book's set on a Sleepy Bayou, or it's the actual Bayou Teche, you put pictures of Bayou Teche. You put pictures of downtown New Iberia. I mean, something that's interesting and that people want to go to and say, oh, this is interesting, and repin it to their board. So the key here is, because like I have a whole thing called Louisiana Book, it's just called Louisiana Books. And so I review books. I try to, put these books. It's real simple. I go to Barnes & Noble and I drag the picture of the book cover onto my desktop, and then I put it on my board. I write a little blurb about it, and I link it back to either Barnes & Noble or the website if I remember to do all this. So again, it's like blogs. You got to remember to keep up with this stuff. So, and if you all aren't on there, let me know, and I'll be glad to put you on there. I'm just trying to, because I'll go home tonight and I'll think of who. I think Margaret's on there. I think Blessing's on there.
Yeah, but it's like, I looked at my page, I've got 25 pins. I mean, I just don't do it much.
It's okay.
So that's not a lot of 25 pins?
25? No. I wouldn't think that's a lot of pins.
I think it's okay. I don't think it's bad. I would just do enough so that when you look, I don't know. Yeah, I think 25 is okay. But the point is, what you do is you have a bunch of books on this board that you created, and of course your book is there too. So when people go to Louisiana Books, they'll see all these different authors, and they might, go, oh, Ernest Gaines, I love it when they repin him. Or they'll see, who's another one I can think of? What's her name? Anne Rice. Anne Rice. Let's put her on there. And then I'm in there too. So it's like then they see my book cover, and so they're somehow getting to this because they like Louisiana authors. They're getting to my board, but they see my book in there too. So it's like it's another way of getting your name and the book cover out there. And I do this for Lafayette Travel, and I have a whole bunch of Lafayette festivals, Lafayette food, blah, 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 blah. And these people, they repin them all the time. In fact, I brought some. I'll show you what it looks like. This is I got a brush a couple of. What about this? There's Pinterest.
And you can look through Facebook too, though. Pinterest, your Pinterest account. You can get it through Twitter and Facebook, if not.
Yeah, Facebook is gotten connected to a lot of people because a lot of times.
Yeah. So maybe if you're on your Facebook page, you can also have a link there to Twitter and Pinterest, I think. Can you?
Yeah. I'm wondering about
my
that.
son told me, will you go into Pinterest through your Facebook page, huh, Mom? I said, no, I just do www.pinterest and I compare those.
Yeah, it too. Pops me up.
Yeah, and it just pops up. So I don't go through Facebook, but you can link it all to your Facebook page.
Huh, I'll have to check that out when I get home.
And
that would be cool.
When I pinned, the last thing I pinned, it had the Facebook and the Twitter icon.
Yes.
Have you seen
I've
that?
added that. I've added all of that.
So I think you can go through your Facebook page and you can link it all together.
Well, when you go, this is how you know you can pin a website. Like if you're on a website and there's a great recipe and you're like, ooh.
That's what I do.
Sometimes there's like, you will see, usually they'll say share this, and there'll be Facebook, Twitter, and they'll have a P, and the P is Pinterest. And so you can hit Facebook and you'll post that website with a little blurb on because websites today, they're linking all this stuff so that they're hoping that you'll share it so that you'll get the word out. And if you can do that on your website, which I don't know how to do quite yet. I do know I have a few links, but I haven't done Pinterest yet. But if you could put these links onto your website, people can do it for you too.
Yeah.
But usually, I get these in my email now all the time. Because when you go on Pinterest, you connect with other people that are like-minded like you, and then they start connecting with you, and then they repin some of your stuff, and you repin some of their stuff, and it's kind of funny. And then
you did your button thing. Did you do the buttons?
The buttons?
The button projects?
I don't think so.
I grabbed it off your page.
Oh, maybe, yes, I did.
I grabbed that off your page.
Well, see, that was one of the, yeah, I did a crafts thing because one of my main jobs is working with a fellowship in town doing their religious education program on Sunday. So I needed craft ideas for kids. And so I found a whole bunch on Pinterest and I put them on my page. And then recently there's a company in Georgia that decided to, they're launching, they're a honey company. It's Savannah Honey Company or Savannah Bee Company. And on Facebook, this is funny. This shows you how it all kind of connects. On Facebook, they had this thing that's saying we're launching a shampoo and conditioner using honey, their honey products. Brand new. You could win, if you want to win a gift basket, post this on your Pinterest and then share it or something. So I did a board on Pinterest with their little thing, and then I went to their Facebook page and posted it. This is just to win something, right? Well, you had to do a board that was like healthy 2000, getting healthy in 2013, and include their honey products. So one of the things I included was one of their recipes for cupcakes with honey drizzle icing. Thank you. And so I tell you, several times a day, people are repinning that recipe. So somehow or another, that recipe on their Pinterest page is huge. So anyway, and I got part of it because they're repinning it from my stuff. So somehow or another, I got really popular because I started this contest. But I'm going to pass this around. This is what I got in my email. And it basically says, like, Janet Adelies repinned 7 of your pins. And then 2 people started following your board, Cookie and Cajun Country. Yeah. So, which I do. Put your book on. I think your book's on one of them. Anyway. And when I started pinning, but this is what happens when you start Pinterest. People start repinning. And
now,
it's
sure,
a
you
good
have
thing.
more than one board then? See, I only have
about
one
20.
board that's called Lynn's Stuff. Because I'm original.
So for every
I have everything on mixed
for every
stuff together.
interesting topic you have a board.
Yes. So like if you have a cookbook that's focusing on rice, I would focus on rice. If you have one that's more like easy, time-saving tips, you could do one on time-saving tips for cooking. You could do one on, great Louisiana cookbooks, and you can put a bunch of cookbooks in there and, of course, have your own. So the idea is to, you have
671 pens. You have 671 pens.
I do?
Yes.
Well, I also, I do it for Lafayette Travel. So I put a whole bunch of pictures of just Lafayette. And
Lots of boards.
And that has actually been really nice because people repin a lot of those, and I'm promoting the area. So I even told tourism, because I remember when I started this, they were like, yeah, all right, Pinterest. Pinterest. But I think it's actually, a lot of people are like swamp scenes and stuff, they love them. Mm-hmm. Of course, I kind of feel, I didn't realize this till I did all that, is that they were all my high resolution photos, so, all my photos are out there, but it's okay.
So Cherie, when you get this
Email
report,
does
it also give you the email addresses for those folks?
Yeah, but what they'll do is, and it is connected with Facebook, so like they know who your friends are. So like when Lynn decided to join Pinterest, I get this email that says, Lynn Castile joined Pinterest. Help welcome her to the community. So what I did was I click on the email, and it takes me to her page, and I just follow her.
And took the corn soup recipe.
I did?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's funny, I rarely have used any of the stuff, but I know it's there. It's kind of nice.
It's there.
But what you do with the books, to give you a quick rundown with the books, if you're going to have like a board for books, let's say you're going to do books that similar to what you're writing, and you put a bunch of other authors on your page, of course with you on there too. What you need, click on edit, there's a bar for a link. So you can do 2 things. You can link back to the author's page or to their Facebook page or their personal pages. something to them. Or you can also link it to like Amazon, if you're part of that Amazon Associates program. And if you have someone go into your board and click on it and buy the book, you get a kickback from Amazon. So you can make a little money. I yet to do that, but I have friends who make, what's the name in town, who does a column for the Times. She said she makes about $20 a month, and that's enough to buy a book. So go figure. But it's good to have a little description of the book and a link to something so that people, because if you click on the picture on someone's board, it will take you to a website, to the source. But you have to put it in there. So like if I do your book, I need to have your website, your URL to benefit you.
The only way I've ever pinned something is from the website, and it says pin. But
Yeah.
so you can do it from Pinterest itself. You can make a pin.
Well, a lot of times, like when I did the book page, I just would I was uploading pictures of books and just writing a little description. And then I
You
was
can upload that to Pinterest itself.
Yeah, you can upload pictures from your desktop. So you can connect with the website directly from the website from Pinterest, or you can upload stuff from your desktop. So all my pictures in the Lafayette section, you do the Lafayette festivals, those are all my pictures.
Those are all your pictures.
Well, there's a little button that says add, and you add, and it's got a little picture of a push pin.
Okay.
And there's two things you can do. You can upload it from your website, and the other one is, I forget what they're called. There's two ways to go. One on the right is for websites, one on the left is to pull things from your own page, from your own desktop. Does that make sense?
Not yet. I don't know if it works on the iPad the same way.
Yeah, maybe not. No, it doesn't, because you can't pull stuff from your iPad. Yeah, do it at home. Try it on your desktop, because you can pull your book cover up from your desktop.
Well, yeah, but the thing that bothered me was that every pen for the book has the book cover. I mean, it has the same picture.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring. I don't know if there's a way to mix that up, but now that you say you can upload a picture.
Sure. Well, you could do, things you can do for, and you can do this on Facebook too, it doesn't have to just be Pinterest. But you could do like, here's the scene, here's the Bayou scene that was my inspiration for the story. Yeah. Here's the historic building that I used in the book. Or here's my hometown in Texas, the real, or something like that. And it just gives another element to your writing. It gives people who are interested, another avenue. And then, of course,
revitalize it.
Do what?
I'm going to give it new life.
I know, it's kind of overwhelming.
Because I hadn't really thought about it.
Do you think, we've covered a lot, and I'm getting the feeling like a little overwhelmed. But then again, I think, well, why not just jump in? What do I have to lose?
Well, you know what I think you should do? I think you should do what feels good for you. If you just want to do Facebook, just do Facebook. If you want to do a blog on Facebook, great. I'm not a big fan of Twitter. I did it because I got paid to do it, and now I'm getting used to it. But it wasn't my thing, and I don't think I'm going to not be successful if I don't do it all the time. So I think you got to do what feels good for you, and if you don't, this doesn't appeal to you. You don't want to do Pinterest. You're not,
Pinterest actually sounds pretty cool.
It's fun. I think it's fun. But when I first heard about it, I kept thinking. Because, I'll tell you right now, I got a feeling that Facebook, it hit its stride, and it's probably going to be coming down, and something else is going to pop up, and then we got to learn that.
You know what's really big
now
with the teens is Instagram. I didn't know that. I had no idea. And then I found out my nieces are all doing Instagram, and that's how you follow them. You don't do it on Facebook anymore.
Really?
A lot of my husband's nieces canceled their Facebook accounts.
Yeah, they don't
just on Twitter.
Oh, they're doing
That's
it.
all they're doing. They got rid of all their Facebook accounts. They're Twittering. So maybe it depends on the age group too. Yeah, they're like in their mid-20s or.
Yeah, they live on their phones.
Yeah, they're on their phones Twittering instead of Facebooking.
And that is kind of frustrating because the iPad and the phone have different functionality than your computer. So you can't always do the same thing the same way, depending on the device. But I think with like Instagram and Twitter, they're more designed for the phone, and the iPad.
Probably so. Yeah. And they all had iPads.
Yeah, so I mean, don't get overloaded. Find what speaks to you and then use it. And then if you get the hang of it and you want to try something new and see how that goes, go for it. And then but always try to think of ways you can cross-pollinate and cross-promote.
Cross-pollinate.
That's going to become
Yes,
the key word.
that's
But I mean, it does help. It will get the word out. But I'm not going to talk a lot about LinkedIn. LinkedIn. You're all pretty much. I think you all were on LinkedIn, right? Everybody's LinkedIn is really more for business and networking. It's actually very good. I've had people find me on LinkedIn and email me asking about a job. So, if you're looking for a job or just want people to know who you are and what you're doing, it's good to be on there. But it's a very more professional business type, and it's great networking. And also, I've noticed in the last few months, what's really big on LinkedIn is that people are recommending others. So I get requests, people recommend me for proofreading or recommend me for something, and I'll go on there and write a blurb, and they do it for me, and it's nice. So if people are looking for you, it's another avenue. But it's like Facebook. You cannot be friends with people on LinkedIn unless you agree to it. So it's closed. It's your closed network, as you call it. So that's what that is.
I've been on LinkedIn for a couple of years, and I still have no idea what it's good for.
Yeah, I think I've had a couple of things good come out of it, but I've been on it for years too. And but then I've had friends who said they've gotten a lot out of it. So I don't know. But then again, I think people looking for work, it might be a good way, and you can always, it's another way, it's another avenue, I suppose.
Totally clueless about how to make money on LinkedIn.
Yeah. But what else do I want to talk about? This is LinkedIn too. The thing too on LinkedIn is that I get this in the mail, I'm talking to you too, and it says, what are your connections up to, and it tells you what everybody else is doing. Eileen Bennett, that's what I was thinking of. She's the one who makes money off the Amazon. She was telling me about. Eileen writes a column for the paper. She also is on Facebook. She does a lot of cross-marketing, and she had a book come out, and she did a lot of social media. So when it came out, it was a big splash. Anyway, what else did I want to mention? So everybody signed their page, okay. Any other questions about any of this? I'm going to give you a lot. And like I said, probably next week there'll be something new.
Okay, what you have presented here today may open up the door to do another workshop, which is what she sent a little note a while ago, actually have your computer and learn to get on whatever you talked about today. So that we could maybe consider that as a workshop also.
Sure.
Actually, is setting up your own Facebook page.
Actually, come in here with your little mini a laptop or whatever, and you want to learn how to do the Facebook setup, let's do it. You want to learn how to get on Twitter, let's do it. And actually, be doing the technical, follow up with the technical. That's what she had just suggested, to follow up with what you did today.
Okay.
Is that something you can handle, or we need to find someone
Yeah,
else?
I just wonder if how much you can do on a phone. I think you have to
Maybe more
set
than
up
one
stuff on
workshop.
your
Maybe
desktop.
more than one workshop.
Yeah.
But focus really in the technical part. I mean, get on air, let's do it. Let's just do it and ask questions, and not try to get everything done in one
Sure.
thing. So if everybody had to say you wanted to come to a technical workshop, just sitting here right now, what would be the next step you would want to be just in here with your computer and working on it?
I think you have to bring a laptop because to
You
set
would.
things up.
Yeah, laptop. You need a laptop. Borrow one, bring one. And actually focus in on the class on what do you want to do? How to set your Facebook up? Do you want to do Twitter? Do you want to do blog?
Interest, all of that.
Yeah. You think you can
Sure.
handle that?
Yeah.
Actually do a technical class with hands-on workshop.
Yeah, definitely. I'm passing my cards around. I think my email's on there.
Okay, the reason I say that.
So if anybody has questions too, you can always.
You want to go for that every 3 months? Go ahead and see if we can get our line up.
Yeah.
Same time, 10, 12.
Well, like I said, please do if you have a question.
Sheree?
I'll say something.
Yes?
We're gonna have, oh, I'm sorry.
Not a problem, I just had to let her know, check her April calendar.
Okay.
And let's focus in on blogs, you said, actually setting up the blog.
Yeah, even if you have your blog, if you're not sure, like me, how to, putting pictures on my blog has been a
Yeah, it is.
very learned experience.
I could give you some hints on that one, because it's, yeah, I have
So
troubles too.
even if you have a blog and you can bring your laptop and learn how to tweak.
You're gonna learn
certain
more
things
than what
that-
you're doing, probably,
The
you know?
functions that the blog offers.
Widgets.
The widgets.
Is it okay if that would be?
That would be good, if you
Yeah.
have all kinds of questions, you can go around and help the person actually create what they want in a Therese. You can go around, if you ran out of time, and actually help each person create whatever they're trying to create.
You know, but because this is really vital and it's a business. It almost seems like if a form was made to create a business plan, an individual business plan for the social media platform, and like with the goals. And
Yes.
where you're at now, what your goals are, and 1 or 2 years.
Make a timeline. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very important, because we had someone come in, like I told you, it was great. The city of Lafayette and Lafayette Tourism brought in a consultant to talk to arts organizations. And it was really wonderful, because she talked a lot about how you present yourself. And she says, it's very important that you need to sit down and figure out, how are you going to present yourself? How are you going to sell this book? What do you want to impart to people? What conversations do you want to start? How do you want to engage people? And then come up with a plan of action. But one of the things they said is that, like arts organizations, their first thought is, they have, here we are, come visit us, and so she talked a lot about being social in the conversations, but we forget that people sometimes you have to break down a wall. A lot of times people think of arts as kind of lofty and snotty and not something they really relate to, and they might think the same way about writing. You might have a book, like a literary book, and they might think, oh, I don't know, I like my science fiction. So you got to break down, and you got to really start engaging people. And so you have to come up with some kind of plan of action. And there are a lot of ways you can do it, but exactly that. Have some goals. Try to think of a plan, so it makes it easier too when you're putting all this in action. But think too of how are you going to engage people? And one of the things they say is ask questions. Everybody has problems. Maybe they don't know how to use a rice cooker like me. I can't tell you how many times my husband says, you just do this and you just do that, and I can't remember it. I don't know why. And so every time he goes, make the rice, I'm like, how do you do this again? So maybe, that the question could be, how do I make it easy for people? Or, so you think of things like that. Think of how do I get people to start talking to me?
Dennis, do you want that as a separate workshop? For example, is that what you're saying?
I
That we
think-
could do a workshop?
Oh, you want to do a workshop?
That
Well,
we-
I was thinking the actual implementation of a workshop where we actually sit here.
Okay.
And before we sit down to our computers, we need kind of a form, a plan.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A layout.
Okay.
Actually, steps of what we're gonna be doing.
Because I think
next
for
month.
every one of us, it's going to be different.
Yes, right.
We're all unique, and we're all writers, but we're all kind of unique and do different things.
Well, and if, I don't know what you think of this, if you want to work on that and then talk about it at the February writers meeting. We could do that too, maybe. That would give you a month to come out with a plan of
February
action.
is open mic.
The thing
We have
that
a guest this month. It has to be March.
The thing that I'm really hearing is
Yes, and I wanted to
Tuesday
say,
night. Y'all
these
come
comments
together.
are not covered from beginning to end of your book.
Did everybody hear that? Molly's speaking Tuesday night.
That's right.
7 o'clock,
Workshop.
Barnes and Noble.
And the
Tuesday night.
subject is,
Through the writing life, from conception of your book to the marketing and promoting it, like how do you get through this, specifically, it takes good coping skills.
Well, maybe we need to do a workshop for us also.
Yeah.
There's so much involved in writing. I wish it was just writing.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try to focus, we're going to have you as our guest, Tuesday coming up, and Sheree is going to do another technical for us, possibly in April.
Possibly,
You got to check the schedule.
yeah.
Okay.
April's a tough
And
month.
Molly, you may want to consider being the next, after that April, May, June, July,
Focus.
workshop.
my focus due in
What you're
April.
talking about right here would be good.
Forgot about that.
From beginning-
A workshop, I might do that at some point.
This kind of thing, in April, so we're going to do one every 3 months.
Well, I don't want to do it too close to the one in Austin.
Well, that's
Or
why.
I may do the same thing twice.
It's not
That
a
might be
lockdown, I'm
really
just
bizarre.
suggesting,
What?
I'm thinking out loud. Sheree, go ahead and do the work, you're gonna speak at the Writers Guild Tuesday night. Sheree's gonna do possibly, if it's open, in April, every 3 months, we're gonna schedule something.
I'll
So-
do one sometime.
So then if we do one in April, May, June, July would be the next workshop to present something.
That,
So that would be your.
if I'm around, that summer, and I may be gone, but I will definitely do it sometime. I mean, I
Or,
had a
you know,
16-week
you
course, I know I've got
I can
about
make
3 hours,
I know, what I was
Well, the whole
gonna
point
tell
is, what
everybody.
you've got would be something I don't think we've covered yet. That would be awesome.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and we'll.
Hoping with the writer's life.
Thank
There you
you.
go.
It's nice to meet
Don't forget to like each other's pages, and I'm going to send this to everybody.
Yeah,
so everybody
okay.
knows.
That'd be good.
And don't forget to go to the Writers Guild's Facebook page and post your news when you have book signings and when your book comes out. And take advantage.
Thanks so
Do it on
much.
the Facebook.